Good day, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Access Granted. Today I've got a very special guest here in our boardroom, Mr. George Pisolis from Milestone. He's the sales manager for Africa, also known as Mr. Milestone in South Africa. I think there's not a lot of people in the South African security industry that doesn't know George by now, but thank you for your time, George, and being here.
Thank you, Hendrik. Appreciate the opportunity.
Give us a bit of a background from George. Where were you born, school, all of that type of things?
Sure. So George is an old fossil.
Yes.
Born in 1974.
Okay. About six years younger than me.
6 years younger than you, but still in that range.
Yes.
Born and bred most of the time in Roodepoort.
Okay.
But in Standard 4, which is now grade 6, my parents decided to move to the Goldfields.
Oh, okay.
So we lived in Virginia until I matriculated in 1991.
Goodness.
And those days it was a good idea to go to the military.
Yes.
For a couple of years. So I spent some time in the military in Pretoria. So
was it just for basics, or were you specializing also in
We
something?
specialize in rapid deployment, actually.
Yes.
So most people won't want to hear this. So we were part of the military police division.
Yes.
But more on the riot division. And I spent quite a bit of time there.
Okay.
And then afterwards decided to go into the illustrious business of marketing.
Yes.
Found out that I love marketing, but I enjoyed technology a lot more.
Okay.
From there, decided to go into IT. Went and studied the usual A+, N+, MCSE.
Yes.
Wanted to get into Cisco. And at the time, the college that I studied at were looking for lecturers.
Okay, yeah.
So they offered me a job to lecture A+ and N+, and joined CTU training.
Okay.
For a number of years, and enjoyed a career in lecturing.
Yes.
A whole bunch of young students.
While you were young as well?
While we were young.
Yes.
And obviously the inspiration was, hang on, there's a bit more to this out there. And with CTU moved around the country, Polokwane, funny enough.
Okay.
Boksburg, Cape Town. And then I got a call from John Powell from Impro Technologies at the time saying, listen, we've heard of your name in the industry.
Yes.
Would you like to join the security industry? I'm like, maybe not a bad idea.
Yes.
Sure. Stepped into the boardroom of John and had a look at these things on the wall, very much like your showroom downstairs, just more of a museum.
Yes.
And he was talking about 485 and 232, and here this IT guy thought he was clever. He was going, sure, no problem. And John literally dumped me into the deep end. And I think that's how the beginning started in the security industry. Literally managing at the time, time and attendance. So I was specializing in the support of time and attendance, managing databases and so on. So it was a steep learning curve.
Yes.
But definitely thrown in the deep end at the time.
Especially coming from just a A+ and N+ and that type of thing.
Exactly.
You hear about it, but you've never done it practically, and database and stuff is quite, in that stage, it was very daunting to look at.
It was very daunting. The databases were luckily Microsoft Access, SQL Express was around, but it was definitely a learning curve in terms of what needed to be done.
Yes.
The IT manageress decided to move on, and then I was semi-promoted into the IT space, looking after the network at Impro, but also commissioning, and that's where I really learned a lot. I was given a side cutter and a screwdriver.
Yes.
3 months in the field.
Okay.
So it was certainly education in the deep end.
Yes.
But it helped a lot.
Of course.
And for me, I think that is really key. A lot of our graduates come out of university and so on, like me, expecting to land up really at a certain position.
Yep.
But looking back in hindsight, I think it was probably the best thing that happened, is to be thrown right there amongst the pigeons and doing the hard labor.
Yes. Literally actually seeing what is happening on a site and having that type of experience makes a world of difference when getting into the real world of what we are in now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Then after Impro, you also moved to to other companies throughout as well?
It's a strange discussion because Impro Systems at the time was bought by Blick.
That's correct, yes.
And Blick became Stanley.
Yep.
Stanley became
EOH?
Before EOH.
Oh, yes.
Anyway, but eventually became EOH.
Yes.
But at the time, I really enjoyed dealing with the OEM space.
That's correct, yeah.
And made a call back to the Impro factory saying, look, I'd rather be back in the
Yes.
Impro fold, helping people develop their business and, of course, technically.
Yeah.
At the time, they were looking for somebody to manage the Middle East and Central and Eastern Europe.
Yep.
So that became my role. I was on an aircraft every 4 weeks for 2 weeks,
Goodness.
up and down between the Middle East and into Europe. Spent a lot of time in different countries.
You had to manage it from South Africa?
From South
You didn't
Africa.
stay up there?
No, I didn't stay there
Okay.
at the time. I was based at the factory down in Durban. But the one day I just said to the management team saying, look, it costs us more
Yeah.
for me to fly, live in hotels, eat out.
Yes.
I did a business case and I presented to them saying, look, it's cheaper for me to stay in the Middle East, in Dubai in particular at the time. Flights were relatively close and inexpensive to the neighboring countries. And then I relocated to Dubai back in the day in 2006.
Yes.
Spent 4 years in Dubai until 2009, 2010. And unfortunately, the market crashed.
Yes.
The financial market had a plummet, the US dollar went into the ground, and decided to come back
Yes.
to South Africa. Because Impro was well established in South Africa, Harry van Tonder said to me, look, there's no space within the Impro fold,
Yes.
but go and begin this division in a company called Texacom.
Yep.
So I went off to Texacom, which became the ZKTeco group.
That's correct, yes.
And my role there was manager of access control, in particular for Impro. And the division I was in was called TechSec.
Yes.
So over the time, just before the ZKTeco acquisition of the ZKTeco group, my boss at the time, Mike Crichton, split apart and formed TechSec as a company on its own. And in that space, we took on the Avigilon surveillance brand
Yes.
and sold that for 8 years. So moved completely out of access control.
So that was your birth into video
Correct.
and video management.
And again, steep learning curve.
Of course.
Had a lot of expertise, people guiding me and teaching me about focal points and a whole bunch of things. So it was a steep learning curve, especially moving away from access control to video. But I must say the video part is quite exciting.
Yes.
Because we are solving people's problems out
Exactly,
there. And that was the beginning for me in the surveillance side of things.
Tell me then, it is now almost 7 years that you with Milestone, eh?
Correct.
Now your movement from the access control into video and then into Milestone, what would you say is some of the highlights in technology side that you've seen happening innovation-wise? What type of highlights would you highlight in the last 2 decades, for 20 years now?
Well, certainly we were in the pixel race. So in the beginning, it was all about the highest megapixel camera.
Yes.
And of course, Avigilon, as everyone knows, had the highest megapixel cameras at the time. But the huge change was when the analytics came into play. Avigilon, prior to Motorola, Avigilon acquired the Rialto device, I forget who manufactured them, which had analytics on a box.
On the box, yes.
And they migrated that into camera. And that changed the landscape of video at the time, because now it's not just pointing a really nice looking camera into a field, you were giving the camera an actual job.
Yeah.
And to me, that was where we had to rethink the way we sold things, and we had to educate the market with regards to don't just stick up a camera everywhere, put some thought behind the camera, and of course buy the right camera for the scene.
Yes.
And it started from those days. Of course, fast forward, many, many years.
Yeah.
We're now talking about analytics.
Yes.
Most brands of cameras have analytics on board.
On board, yes.
Which is a great thing.
Definitely.
Comes standard out there. But of course, it's now the AI section of it. So the birth of AI for me was quite intriguing.
Yes.
But controlled AI. Out in the market, AI is a really big word.
Yeah, of course.
And there are many vendors pushing the agenda around the AI.
Yes, always.
But Milestone's point of view is responsible AI, using it for the greater good of humankind.
Yes.
And of course, being able to control AI and cognitive AI, where systems start making their own decisions
Yes.
around what needs to be done.
Okay. So the big difference between what we had previously was just the analytics. Now the system is starting to make the decisions on what it needs to give the output on different things that it's seeing.
Correct.
Is it not just still if statements? If you see this and that and then give it, or how do you guys define AI in this analytics space?
No, so there's video language models that are applied either onto the camera.
That has been trained?
That has been trained.
Okay.
Naturally, it doesn't understand a scene until it gets trained.
Yes.
Like a human.
Yep.
If you put down a security guard, he or she has to be trained
Of course,
in a particular environment. But there are language models that are built into the cameras and or software that can start learning the scenes and start either self-training. In the beginning, there was a bit of if and we had to configure the platform accordingly, or the camera. But these days, a lot of the brands, I would say, have adopted quite nicely around the AI portion of that.
Okay.
To the point where either the camera or the video management software can actually tell the operator what is happening in the scene.
Yes.
So at the point where we're at with regards to AI is indeed that, where in a particular scene, if the camera or the software or both picks up an anomaly, it will report back to the operator.
That's correct, yes.
Saying, for example, it's raining in the scene, turn on lights possibly, or warning lights, maybe flash a warning signal, etc. So it's learning and understanding
it's
what's
becoming
going on.
proactive in... Not somebody in the background is trying to react. The camera can already, and the system can already give the feedback.
Correct.
Okay. Tell me, obviously now these models that you taught, video models, it gives us also a much bigger space into not using too much bandwidth anymore from the camera side, because it's happening on the edge. The analytics and all of this is happening there, and it only gives the relevant information back, and sometimes it doesn't have to give any back because it's already made the decision.
Correct. So I think with the migration with on-prem recording systems and so on, there's quite a big drive to move items into the cloud or to reduce bandwidth across
because
networks.
For the cloud you need to use, try to use as less bandwidth as possible.
100%. So the idea is the camera manufacturers are indeed putting these models onto the camera to make the decision based on both analytics and or AI, and then report back to a central location.
Of course,
We're also seeing a lot of sites being disparate, where in the past we would put a server or a machine down on premise, it will handle that contained environment. Now we're seeing businesses acquiring other businesses and offices and wanting everything centralized and of course taken off-prem into a secure location. For that, you need systems to reduce bandwidth, the amount of recording. From a study that was done, only 2% of 100% of video is actual useful footage. So you can imagine now 98% of the footage sitting on hard drives is an absolute waste.
Exactly,
So if we can reduce the costs with regards to the video and the video management, of course it's a client that wins at the end of the day, but also the system is giving what is actually wanted.
Definitely. And I think that is where AI plays a very big role to actually get the signal out of all of the noise out there.
Correct.
Tell me now, with having the cloud-based system stuff, obviously that is a next movement that we see in the market as well. Again, video has started that, and all of the other systems is now creeping access control, and all of those are also going cloud-based now. But what is your feeling about the future of integration between these systems? Because that is also a new buzzword the guys do not want to reinvent the wheel, so let's just integrate. Is that something real that's happening now?
We see a lot of requests around integrations in the market. We term the terminology, it's not unique, but it's single pane of glass, where all products start informing the operator from a single source. In the past, we saw disparate systems running independently, but certainly CIOs, CTOs, CEOs are looking for that experience where things are a lot more seamless out there. So we have seen a huge uptake in the last few years with regards to integrations. But of course, with integrations brings its own challenges, specifically around compatibility, cybersecurity, possible loopholes in platforms. So when we talk about integration, we take it quite seriously, and we have to look at the partners that are wanting to integrate into the platform. But so should the market, right?
Of course.
People talk about integration. These days we have the younger generation that have learned code and so on. They download code from various websites, but these things haven't been verified.
That's the problem,
by a development team, which can pose a huge risk at the end of the day. So choosing the right partner, making sure that the integration is done correctly, and of course with the right controls in mind. These days we talk about the big five. It's not limited to the big five, but access control, fencing, video, life safety or fire, and intrusion are the big five that we look at in terms of integration. Outside of that, it's the onion effect where people are saying, fine, I want to link the access control to the smart building. Historically, these were segregated products. Now they're talking to each other, where a camera will tell the building management, there's no one in this room, as an example, turn off the AC, turn off the lights.
So that's more building management. It also integrates with that type of thing.
Correct. So all the reverse, right? The building management has been booked, a boardroom has been booked. ACs now come on, it alerts the controller, listen, guests are coming into the room, pop up a camera or unlock the door. So that's the kind of integrations we're talking about at the moment. Sure, in the future, it's smart buildings, smart cities, etc. Where we at in South Africa, there is huge talk around that. A lot of players in the market that are talking about that.
Talking the talk,
But deployment is a key thing. I think a lot of people see huge dollar signs when these things happen. But delivery is key. And I think the proof is in the pudding. You know, the companies that have experience, either from a global perspective, with case studies or whatever that can be presented to people is key.
Do you think it's now the time for smart cities and big data and that? Because previously that was some of the trends that we saw 6, 7, 8, even 10 years back, that people were talking big data and they're talking smart cities. I don't think we had the technology back then. I think now is probably only the time where all of that comes together and actually be able to give us a good output.
I think it is time. I mean, I think protocols, LoRaWAN, etc., have come a long way with the IoT stuff. IoT products are being integrated into other products, which are typically not integrated into each other. But there are smart cities being built as we speak. In the Middle East, in particular North Africa, where governments have decided to take the next leap. And smart cities are different to safe cities. And I think that's where people make a mistake. A safe city is about the big five.
That's correct.
A smart city, traffic management, refuse management, water management, and so on. I do think the time is right, specifically with what's going on in our particular country. It's not unique. I mean, I think in Africa and a lot of other parts of the world, a smart city will definitely benefit citizens and everyone alike.
Tell me, I previously viewed video and cameras and the video platforms as being the piece of the market that is literally driving innovation the whole time. You always see something first happening on that side before you see integration. Is the video management and the video and the camera market still the leader in innovation in this market?
So Hendrik, because I deal with it every day,
of course,
I would say it is one of the driving innovations, but I certainly have seen innovation in the access control point of view. facial recognition readers these days can also give you indication where people are happy or sad.
Yes.
Fatigue management, etc. So I think there are other products other than video that are driving innovation.
You don't think that video or the facial analytics comes from video?
It does come from video, but it's normally tied into the access control.
Into the unit that's
but again,
directly, yes.
with integration, that can be fed
Of
into a system and then alert a control room, or either way, right? There are other things like in the IoT space, like huge innovation in IoT, movement of people, tracking of people, products, alongside humans and access control and video. So there's a lot of...
Because it can trigger each other. It can give you more analytics and more data.
Correct. There's symbiotic relationships between those products.
Yes.
Looking at other brands, the wireless market, especially when people were saying, you know, everything needs to be cabled, in the fire market in particular, we're seeing a lot of wireless stuff.
We've named Ajax few times on this particular, because it was a revolution for everybody to see something like that, especially now with the fire side.
Yeah, it was, and of course they've gone through the, jump the hoops with regards to regulations.
Yep.
And these are the things that we see out there at the moment.
Tell me, with your experience now working with other African countries and so on, where is South Africa in this space? Are we leading? Are we lacking? Where would you put South Africa in the technology space, or in our technology space?
I think in Africa there are other leaders, other countries that have taken the leap.
Okay.
Certainly Rwanda, Nigeria, and other countries have taken the jump into smart cities.
Yes.
And technology. They've adopted good technology. They've also become educated in the space, overall in the space, with regards to IoT and security. Yes. So when we do deal with people in these type of countries, we get a good feeling that they know what they want, and the outcomes are a lot quicker. I think the negative in South Africa is naturally the difference in fighting with political parties, who's going to take charge of all of that. Yeah. I've been to a few seminars that are government-led, and the talk is there, and the people really do want it.
Yes.
I think the how-to execution isn't quite there yet.
Of course, yeah.
So my personal opinion is they're waiting on someone to do it first and then come and feed that information. But there are companies in South Africa that are pushing that agenda from a vendor point of view.
Yes.
To get government to drive. I think that also causes a bit of confusion.
Of course, yes.
For the market. So, but I think we're there, but we're not quite there yet, to be honest.
I've seen a lot of movement, obviously, in the Western Cape. Everybody knows there's quite a big movement, especially of technology, cameras, everything that is in the Western Cape, which we hope will be like a springboard for the rest of the country to actually see what technology can actually do for your city and for your province, that type of thing.
Correct. So we have been engaging with the city of Western Cape, or Cape Town in particular, and they've got an awesome division called EPIC. So it's Emergency Policing Information Control.
That's correct.
And there's another division that does the whole smart city, and they're starting to collaborate, and we're seeing their dashboards that they've developed on their own. But of course, they've reached out to OEMs,
of course,
to say, listen, we've reached a point where we need help in terms of this. It does cost a lot of money, and I think they haven't quite budgeted for what they want at the end of the day. And they're reaching out to the public sector and to companies saying, come consult with us. So we've been consulting with them quite a bit. We'll see where it lands up. But certainly Cape Town, in particular, comparing to other cities, by far is ahead of the rest of South Africa. And you can see it when you're on the ground.
Yeah, I hope it's going to be a proof of concept that the guys can see it is actually giving good results. But at the end, like you said, the budget is very important, and it is always, even in access control, time attendance, in cameras and everything, there's a cost for the hardware, but the cost for the network to be put in place
100%.
is sometimes even double what you need on the budget from just the normal camera or the access control unit being put in.
No, 100%.
Yeah, so that, I think that is where a lot of the cities and even municipalities is running away, because they can see how much that is going to cost. And if they're not going to have the buy-in of the private sector, having the other companies inside the cities and the municipalities to come on board on the cost and stuff, it's not something that the municipality can carry by itself.
No. You're 100% right. I think there's different silos in any city. There's the IM department, the city department, etc. And the city of Cape Town is one of few where we've presented to, where we've had public sector policing, etc., fire and so on. They've all been in one room, communicating with each other, because I think they've realized that there's a bigger need. And it sounds like they're trying to combine budgets. But with the GNU, it's been a bit of a challenge for them, the Government of National Unity. So where they're trying to get money and people to approve. But certainly the talk is there. I think the time is right.
I think the silos that all of the departments has created all over the place, like you said, the budgets for water and for policing and for everybody, they all put in a budget for the backbone of the whole municipality instead of all using the same infrastructure at the end of the day. So tell me, if you can have a look at from a sales point of view, because you're also a salesperson.
Sure.
That is actually where we take our caps off. I think this might play more into the private sector, but who is driving that sale and who's asking the right questions? Can you see if it's the end user that has got a bit more information now, or is it the resellers and the installers that is still driving that sale?
We've certainly seen a dynamic shift where the end users are far more informed than I would say 5 years ago. So a lot of decisions are made at end user level. And of course then the end users start looking for what we call trusted advisor or installers and integrators. I personally think there's great installers, people that really do a great job installing products. But we are lacking certainly in the knowledge base around integration of systems from these installers. So there's a bit of a drain in that sector. So part of our strategy is to educate, train, try and recruit people into the sector that we see have potential in doing what they do. So the normal audience that we deal with is no longer the same. We're having to deal with a younger crowd or people that are in the IoT or in development spaces. And we've seen a huge uptake on that. But of course, big corporates now also have internal people that can do a lot of the work. And it's a fine line now because we often get asked, can we supply direct?
Of course, it happens every day too.
It's quite a scary thing for us because we don't have that model. But in saying that, they are definitely investing in-house with a lot of staff and upskilling the staff internally to be able to handle systems. Systems are getting, I wouldn't say more complicated, but with integration, there has to be a lot more uptime between product.
If you can, where you started with Vagilon and where you are now, not comparing the two, but would you say that sale was easier than today's sale? Or was this more hardware based, this is more solution? How would you specify that?
No, I think those days, like I mentioned earlier, the megapixel cell was super easy. Went there, put up the camera, customer loved it, did its job. Of course, we competed against other brands at the time, but very few had what we had. I think when everybody caught up, all the other brands caught up, certainly it's a more difficult sell. Today's sell is more of a consultation rather than putting a brochure down out there. And the reason for that is people have more knowledge. They are doing a lot more research before they make a decision. So our turnaround time in terms of projects has lengthened in time. It used to be, let's say, 6 to 8 months. Now we're talking about 1.5 years.
Goodness.
Sometimes we're lucky. Of course, you walk in, do your pitch. The audience loves what you're selling, and it's a done deal. But of course, being the product that we're just a software that glues product together.
Everything together,
You know, and people don't quite understand that. So a lot different to for example, a Vigilon that is end-to-end,
Yes.
still a good product, they offer access control, etc., but then you tie it into a single product.
Yes.
The younger generation speaks to like subscription type models.
Exactly, yes.
And choice,
Yeah.
where I want to buy something, I want to be able to detach and attach accordingly, very similar to maybe at home or whatever you use. I don't like this today, I don't want to get rid of the whole thing, I just take that off.
Take that one
I
off,
add the next best thing in, and we're seeing a lot of that happening at the moment
Okay.
out there.
Are you guys also investing into the new thing, that new thinking of the new generation coming on? Because obviously they are going to be the decision makers within the next 5, even some of them are already the decision makers.
Yeah.
But in the next 5 to 10 years, those are the guys that's going to come in and make those decisions. Are you guys ready for that market?
We are gearing up for that market. I think our company is certainly spending a lot of money on training on what we call solution selling,
Yes.
rather than just box selling. I mean, it's an old way of selling, but it also to address that particular market.
Exactly.
Where in the past you were talking to a security manager,
Yes.
and it was built on trust. Now, when we're presenting, we're building on product and technical features, etc. And the audience is definitely getting a lot younger. We're also finding that it's not a person making decisions, it's an audience of people.
Which makes a very big difference.
It makes a very big difference, so we have to play to everybody's either knowledge or to their questions. So it is becoming tougher, but in saying that, people also know what they want.
Yeah.
So they have the right questions, and if we can address their pains, most of the time we come out.
It makes it much easier these days. Well, from my point of view, it makes it much easier because the guys know the correct questions.
Correct.
Because previously you're walking into a boardroom and the guys are asking questions and you think for yourself, but these guys have got no idea what they're looking for. And hence my previous question is, we can see from the end user side they've got the ability now, and they've got a lot more information. Internet and everything is giving them a lot more features that they need to have a look at. Even now with AI and the large language models and ChatGPT and whatever the guys are using out there, they now ask that platform, they say, I want a new one. And then another question is, obviously for having sales in the future, we need to be AI ready. We need to be on these platforms. And actually, if somebody's asking, then you better make sure that your name is on that platform.
True.
So it's a big drive on the marketing side as well, just to be on those platforms.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see you has invested quite a bit of time with the different types of platforms.
Yes.
We can see it. We've adopted Copilot in our business, but we also test ChatGPT and others. And obviously, when we type in relevant and actual information, generally the responses are quite good. So,
definitely,
we have a great team feeding a lot of information into these models.
Yes.
And from what we can see, it's been quite positive. We do get calls from people in the market that we've never met, saying, "Oh, I've done a bit of research out there, and we know
immediately where that
it's
research
come from."
coming. Yes.
And they tell us a lot of factual information, and they'll go, "Is this true? Can you show us?" So they've already jumped, I would say, 40% of the sales pitch to a point where they want to see a demo, which, to be honest, helps us quite a bit.
Of course, yes.
So it enhances the sale, but it also helps people make a more informed decision.
Exactly,
I think they can do a bit of research. We've got to be careful of what they call hallucinations on a lot of these platforms, but
I think we're getting to the stage where doctors were previously. Now we search this on Google and I think I must have this, this and this, and a doctor will look at you and say, just open your mouth, let me see your throat.
True.
But I think the technology is getting to a point whereby, like you said, the guys are getting almost all the information before they get to you, and you just need to also just swipe left on the hallucinations and go with whatever they have in their mind on how they want to run the company. Because sometimes I think consultants and salespeople will go out and have their own agenda. Yes, they're supposed to be the specialist and whatever, but also now, while the end user has got all of this information on the tips of their fingers, they can both combine it together and make a much more informed decision, like you said.
True.
Yeah. Tell me, I asked you now the question about Africa and South Africa. Where in the world, you also now have got communication with a lot of your other countries and stuff like that. Where would you say, can you see the most innovation taking place in the world in your market at this moment?
I would say, to be honest, the Gulf in general
Middle East,
are quite forward thinking in terms of innovation. The World Cup happened in Qatar, the cities that are being built currently in Saudi Arabia, etc. These are not small projects.
No.
I look at some of my colleagues and they're doing 10,000 cameras. That's outside of the access control side of it and so on. But they definitely want integrations to happen.
Yes.
Funny enough, Western Europe, so Scandinavia, some parts of Italy and those kind of countries, a lot of smart city innovations coming out of that space, where we collaborating with city police, municipalities, etc. The United States built a system around the schooling system on Milestone and other integrations. So it's difficult to tell. It depends on what vertical you're aiming at. But there's definitely guys that are driving it. Here in South Africa, I think our security, you mentioned earlier, is far more involved. So we've got to think like a criminal, act like a criminal, and so on. So a lot of things, people come to us saying, how did you do this? Can you send us a case study, whatever the case is? And in return, we rely on them for other integrations that they've done. So we collaborate quite well from a global perspective.
Yeah, I've also seen from my side, some of our branches internationally will not launch anything if I didn't say yes to it. If it is not South African safe or Africa safe, then they don't even want to have a look at it. So it gives us also a place to do some innovation ourselves as well and give the relevant feedback for the other countries to obviously be able to roll out more advanced and more safer type of products.
Exactly.
If you can give us an indication of, you were talking about the big five. Is there any of the big five that is working closer with the video side than any of the others, like access control? Are they closer, or is it a mixed bag that you guys get?
At the moment, definitely access control and the life safety products are quite tightly knit together.
Yes. If you say life safety, is that
fire,
SHIC and those?
A bit of both.
So more fire.
As well as the fire and all of that.
Yes.
I think these days with legislations that are being pushed, and now that senior management are being held accountable for people's safety, more emphasis have been put into these kind of products. But of course, visual verification is quite key.
Yes.
And of course, to drive people to the right answer is also key. I think in the past, if you were in a building, if a fire alarm went off, somebody would run to a particular area and go and have a look and put themselves or selves at risk.
That's correct.
Where now it's collaborative through a control room. The operators can see what's going on. And then of course the access control side can be either locked or unlocked. The other side is on the access control, for example, critical doors that are left open, vault doors or any sensors that have gone off can be verified through video. And then control can be taken from that. So we're seeing those products mostly in there. Of late, we've seen a pickup with regards to intrusion, especially when people have multiple buildings, either in a city or across a country, where they want to be able to visually see what's going on on site. And again, because criminals are these days a lot more intelligent, they have their own intelligence in terms of what's going on, is to be able to bring people there safely and make sure that the incident doesn't go pear-shaped.
Of course,
So it's starting to grow. The last year or so has been electric fencing as well. So it's strange how it goes in phases. And as people realize integrations can happen products are starting to roll in.
Do you think it's part of the movement of everybody going to a central cloud or a cloud type of system?
I do think it's eventually
Yes.
the same sort of topology will be able to be taken up into the cloud, either private cloud or public. But yes, the integrations can happen pretty much anywhere these days.
Because I think our technology is there now. The communication is much better than 15 years ago, that type of thing.
Exactly.
To be able, yes, at that time there was also some cloud players, but I think our communication stuff was just not, the technology was just not there to make it reliable.
No, exactly.
Because even for smart cities, we didn't have the infrastructures, we didn't have the technologies that we needed to run these smart cities. And that's why my previous comment as well, I think we are at the space. Everybody was waiting for 5G. 5G was the big word, 2020 and that type of thing. And yes, 5G is there, but we've even have better technologies these days to be able to fit everything together.
Exactly.
Tell me, going into a bit more, the last stage of our podcast is normally a bit of mentoring, that type of thing. So I think we touched it quickly the other day as well when we had a meeting is, we need to get new blood into our market.
Yes.
We are all getting old. Well, not them, but us. How do we attract young people? There's not a lot of jobs out there. The guys are walking out of university with degrees and stuff. They're not getting jobs. How do we make the security and our technology more attractive for these young people?
I think it's twofold. For me, knowledge is power. And like I said earlier, being the IT lecturer, I thought I would know everything, and certainly got thrown in the deep end.
Yes.
And for companies like ours, I would say a mentorship program should be established, especially with the larger corporations, to bring people in from the beginning, out of school, out of a technical background, and give them hands-on experience, what it actually feels like and looks like out in the world. Typically what we see, if you become a salesperson, you get given a portfolio, you maybe get an hour or two of training, and off you go. You don't reach the target. You don't reach your target for some other reason, and then you get nervous, and young people keep on moving on, and you see a lot of youngsters job hopping.
That's correct. Yes.
Where I think it should happen is the way I was taught. Technically, you go and learn.
Yes.
Because if you understand the product from a technical point of view, you will certainly know how to sell it. And I have definitely seen the best sales people out there are technically minded, and they come from a technical background. The other side is, don't be scared to work for nothing. You know, I have a student in my office. Initially, she joined us without a salary. And she just needed time,
some experience,
and now we started to pay her. We've adopted her into the fold. And of course, once she has a certain level of knowledge, the chances are good that they might move on and get more experience. But I think to start from a base is key, and not wanting to always jump to the top. And I think that is key out there. And always listen to the older people that have been around. Looking at the young ladies, sometimes they know more than us, and they definitely do.
Sometimes they are,
but I think experience is key. We might not know the latest and greatest in terms of technology, but patience and time.
Because they are normally the ones that's coming with the, did you see this?
Exactly.
And then you feel like a dinosaur because you haven't seen it.
But that is the truth. I mean, certainly I feel like that with this AI talk and new models and all these things, that it's overwhelming for someone like me. But take the time and do research. And I think people are impatient. Social media has taught people that 1 minute is good enough. It's instant gratification. And that's going to certainly hurt people's minds. Like over time, take the time, research something. There's multiple platforms that you can go on and have a look. It's all at your fingertips. You and I learned from encyclopedias.
We had the A+.
You know what those are?
And we had the A+ books and N+ books, and that was MCSC was
100%,
and we didn't have the online resources then, or the video that even showed us.
And I think it's time to become knowledgeable in something will take time.
Yeah,
and from
definitely.
that you can adapt to
Of course.
to other products or move on to something different.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the straightforward answer there as well is that we also need to put something into this. We need to
100%.
be more proactive when it comes to the younger guys and giving them some chances in this market. Like I said, there's always a space whereby they can come in for experience only. Just build up that experience, and if you can, we will see the potential of the person. And I mean, we are connected to so many resellers and installers and stuff out there that's always looking for something. So I think obviously the answer looks like we're going to have to drive it from the top to the bottom, get these guys some experience, and then they can be placed wherever needed. Then from a personal point of view, your 20-year-old, what would you tell him that time, which all of your knowledge that you have now, well, what would you tell him?
I think be patient. I think that is key. Certainly Rome wasn't built in a day. And we're certainly seeing out there guys are hopping around quite a bit. They're not building a credible portfolio on their name.
Yep.
You're an identity. Believe that you're an identity.
Yes.
And make yourself known out there. It is quite scary that these days we can't identify people anymore and say, I will employ that particular person. There are some, but not as many as we would like out there.
And also not as young as we would like them to.
Exactly. And secondly, it's not all about the money.
Yes.
Which is key. It's about the experience. If you can learn something,
Yes.
knowledge you can never take away. Money you can lose in a day. So that would be me to my 20-year-old.
Yeah. And at that point, I would like to thank George for your time.
Welcome.
It
Thank
was
you.
an awesome talk that we had now. And I think there's a lot of points that the people are going to think about, and you're going to get a lot of calls after this as well. But thank you very much for your time.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for your time as well, guys. See you next time.